Hey, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. And I don't know if on your screens it says that I'm Denise Linn, but clearly I'm not Denise Linn. We got our links messed up. So when I post in the comments, it's really me. So I'm going to say, this is really Liz. So you know that we're sort of swapped here a little bit.
It looks like I'm saying this is really Liz, but anyway.
It's not, it's me. And then when Denise posts, it's going to be me.
I don't even know how to post. Oh, wait, down here.
Down there in the chat.
Is me. Okay. Now I'm going to post. All right. But I don't think I'm going to post.
I know.
So, okay. I came to hear about dreams. So we need to.
We're going to get going here. Okay. So very quickly, for those of you who don't know who I am, which is probably all of you, my name is Liz Dawn, and I am the co-founder and CEO, it sounds so official, co-founder and CEO of Celebrate Your Life Events. And Celebrate Your Life Events will be celebrating our 25th anniversary next year. And we put on these just at Celebrate Your Life events. We put together programs, spiritual programs that feature your favorite spiritual teachers, and we do them in Arizona and just all over the country. And I got to know Denise many, many years ago and immediately fell in love with her work. And it's been such an honor to have her at almost every single, I've had her, not almost, at every single Celebrate Your Life conference and retreat since I met Denise. And then we decided we wanted to collaborate on some programs. So we've done that too. So it's such an honor and a privilege to introduce to all of you the amazing Denise Linn, who is a best-selling author of many books, including The Hidden Power of Your Dreams. So I'm going to do a round of applause for you, Denise. Denise Linn! Yay! And we're going to talk about dreams.
This is like just you and me, nobody else. I have a suggestion for you. When you're talking, if you turn your head down just down just a tiny bit. Otherwise, you just get like it's all white. Can you see that?
Oh, you don't like that? You don't like that?
No.
Oh, come on, Denise.
Just a little bit.
I think I have to like adjust.
My girlfriends do, don't they? They say, that's
there
good.
We go.
Yeah, there you go.
Better? That's better. If I tilt them a little bit.
Perfect.
Yeah, I know. I have to get better glasses with the light. Okay, so Denise, we're going to talk about dreams today. And I think what I'd love to do is start off a little bit with you explaining why dreams are so important. Like, what is the value of dreams? Like, we have them, we wake up, we're freaked out, or we're joyful because of them, right?
Before I talk about that, and I really do want to talk about that, that's kind of the purpose of our gathering. First of all, I want to say welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. This is one of my favorite subjects ever. I've written 19 books. My very first book was on dreams. It continues to be a passion for me. But to kind of give you a little bit of context for the things I talk about today, and especially about how necessary dreamers are now. They are so very, very necessary. I'm going to take you back in time to when I was a kid. And I was visiting my grandparents, my Cherokee grandparents in Oklahoma. And they had a ranch, and they had cattle and horses, and they had a lot of ranch hands. And after work, the ranch hands, my grandmother and all the women would prepare this really big meal, a bigger meal at lunch, but a big meal for dinner. And then they would all the ranch hands would sit around out in the yard, and they would, share stories. And I remember this one story. I don't know if it's a traditional story or if it was one of the Cherokee hen what do they call it? The wranglers. Anyway, but this story I've never forgot. And he said, a long time ago, the elders began to look into the fire. And these are the Cherokee elders. And when they looked into the fire, that's where they got their visions. And they began to see, into Cherokees, they talk about sacred fire. And over again, the elders looked into the fire and they looked into the future. And they saw a time when the Mother Earth wasn't being honored. The animals weren't being honored. The trees weren't being honored. The air wasn't being honored. And people weren't honoring each other, and they were very concerned. And so elders from many different villages got together, and they created a big fire. And this great gathering of elders, they all looked into the fire, and they saw the same thing. They saw a time in the far future when the world was weeping, and things were challenging. And of course, there's always challenges on the planet, but the particular challenges they saw concerned them. Now, in many Native traditions, there's the idea of the giveaway, that you give of yourself, you give of what you have, that the people may live. So they decided to have a great giveaway. And people came from all over for this giveaway. And a big fire, a huge fire, a fire with the flames going up higher than the people. It was a bonfire. And as the people stood silent around the bonfire, and the elders explained about this time that was coming, a warrior stepped forward, and in absolute silence, he stepped into the fire. The elders said that he was dedicating his life to those future generations, that the people may live. And another young woman stood in silence before the fire, and she stepped into the fire in silence. And one and another of the people stepped into the fire to dedicate their life to that future generation. It's said that you could see their souls, their spirit rising high with the embers. And it's said that those spirits begin to travel the planet and circle the planet as they waited. And they waited. And the time they foresaw, those elders foresaw, is now. And it is said that one by one, those spirits those souls began to come back down to the earth, to be of service, to support and nudge us in the journey ahead. In Native cultures, to dream is everything. The dreamers, it is as a result of the dreamers that the tribe would know when to move. They would know when to be still. They would know when to hunt, when to plant, because the dreamers had the ability to step between the worlds. And in ancient cultures, not just Native American, but in ancient cultures, if someone came forth and said, we should go in this direction, I've crunched the numbers, I've thought about it, and someone who was a dreamer came forward and said, we should go in this direction because I've dreamed on it, they would follow the dreamer, because they saw and they knew that the dreamers had the ability to gather, to garner wisdom and knowledge from the inner planes. And now, if two people say, well, I've done the numbers and I've thought about it and I've worked it through, and then someone says, well, I've dreamed on it, you get laughed out of the office. You get laughed out of wherever you are. They're like, yeah, right, you dreamed it. But it is the dreamers now that are so necessary. It is my belief that those people who know how to access their dreams are going to be the hope of the world. And right now, we need help. The planet needs help. That vision that those elders saw of a time when the world was in a time of challenging circumstances is now. And
I've never heard you share that story, and it has just touched my heart. That is such a beautiful story, and it's so true. And as you were talking, I could actually feel and sense those warriors walking into the fire, and that this is the time that it's so needed.
There's a song, and I fail every singing class I've ever taken, but there's a song that resonates in my heart so strongly, and it's step into that holy fire, step into that sacred flame, keep on walking, don't stop walking, keep on walking, don't stop walking. And I can feel the spirit of those beings who sacrificed their life that the people may live, that the earth could be replenished. And I believe that they are whispering to us in our dreams. They're whispering to us to take care of this beautiful and needful planet. And I'm sorry, I get... Anyway, the reason why I'm so passionate about dreams, one of the many reasons, is because we have the opportunity to gather and garner wisdom and knowledge, not just for ourselves, not just to make choices that will propel us in a positive, loving direction at every juncture in our life, but also to bring back wisdom to share with others. This is the time now. This is the time they foresaw. And, you know, those people who have made that journey have come back with such remarkable information. You've heard me talk, Liz, about Einstein said every single discovery he ever made came from a dream.
Yes.
A dream.
Yes.
You know, heck, Einstein, and he said it came from a dream. It is, this vast universe is available to all of us. It is not just for the chosen few. And it's just a matter of, first of all, believing it's important. You need to believe that there's value in your dreams. You need to believe that your dreams are speaking to you. They speak to us symbolically, but nevertheless, sometimes it's not even symbolic. Sometimes it's like very, like, yeah. You left the back door open, or the back, a chicken is out. Oh, okay. But our dreams are telling, and then it's not just. Okay, I got carried away. I'm going to talk.
No. I love this. And I have a feeling that everyone else is like on the edge of their seats. Like,
all right.
I mean, what you're talking about becoming a dreamer and becoming an important piece of a global vision, not just about, our own precognitive dreams, but okay, do you want me to ask you a few questions about dreams?
I'm going to give a brief, just a little, for someone who doesn't know anything about dreams, or very little. I'm just going to give touch a few points, and then if you have questions, we can do that. But so in native cultures, ancient cultures, there were dreamers. The dreamers would dictate the destiny of the culture, the clan, the tribe. And they were revered. And then as we moved, especially in the patriarchal times, and as we moved from the patriarchal times to the patriarchal times, which is, such a small sliver of human history, we also moved from this panoramic awareness to a very linear yang kind of, it's considered masculine, but I say yang because, male, female, but a very yang linear way of perceiving the world. And in that transition, dreams were, they were relegated off to the side of just something interesting. A child has a dream. Mommy, I dream. Oh, honey, it's just a dream, without honoring the dream. And because of that, we don't remember our dreams. Now, scientists say, yes, there's a reason for dreams. And I'll tell you what science says about dreams. We dream every hour and a half. So every hour and a half, we have what's called REM, R-E-M, rapid eye movement. And rapid eye movement is how you know someone's dreaming. Maybe you'd have seen someone and their eyes are going back and forth. Their eyelids are close to their eye. That's a REM, that's REM sleep, dream sleep. The first dreams are just a few minutes, and then another hour and a half. And then the dream gets longer until just before we wake up. You can have even a 30-minute dream. They get longer. Now, those dreams are really, really important, because if you go in dream laboratories, they can let you sleep, but every time you go into REM sleep, into a dream, they'll wake you up. So you can't actually dream, but you can sleep. And after 72 hours, people become psychotic. They have mental breakdowns. They begin to hallucinate. So dreams are absolutely necessary, even if you don't remember your dreams. And incidentally, people say, I never dream. You do. If you did not dream, in a few days, you'd be crazy. So you are dreaming. You just don't remember your dreams. So the dreams are necessary for, and in science they say, well, it's filtering through your memories and it's deleting files you don't need. So that's kind of, and it is interesting. I love finding out what scientists are discovering about dreams. Here's something interesting. Did you know that dolphins dream with only one side of their brain at a time? It's just fascinating.
I mean, one at a time. How do they? Oh, that's so interesting.
There's so many interesting things about dreams. Babies dream about 75% of the time. And then as they get older, their dream state, which I think is interesting, they've just come from spirit. And when they're sleeping, 75% of that is dream. They're in the dream state. As they get older, their dream state gets smaller. So psychologists say that dreams are bringing us issues in kind of symbolic manner for us to process and work with. And there's a lot of value in understanding dreams from a psychological perspective. But there's also the mystical perception of dreams. And the mystical perception, we talk about a gateway, a portal that you can step through. And on that other side is this vast yet very real universe. On that other side is this astral realm, for example, which is real. There's a physicality to the astral realm. And I love training people in astral travel. I love doing astral traveling. But we can also do things like connect to those who have passed over. And you can, when you go through that portal, when you go through that gateway, you can also travel to the future, and you can gain information about your future, about the future. And it's not uncommon for people to have dreams about the future. You've probably heard about people who got a lottery number in their dream and they won the lottery. I mean, they've gone into the future, seen the lottery number.
Okay, I want to do that.
It's fascinating. You can also go to your far past. You can even go to past lives. You can do, we were talking just before when people were on, I didn't know they were on, but we were talking about dream sharing. You can actually share dreams with people that you're close to. And you wake up in the morning and you have the same dream on the same night. And you were saying your cat might come in. And I said, that's so interesting, because not only can you share dreams with someone you're sleeping with, incidentally, scientists have found that identical twins will often have the same dream on the same night, and they have the same REM cycles. It's just fascinating.
Oh.
So there's way to program yourself to dream share. And I remember one woman, she said, Denise, my cat always sleeps on top of me. And she goes, really often I dream that I'm catching a mouse and I'm eating the mouse. And in my dream, I love it. And she goes, when I wake up, I think it's disgusting. And in my dream, it's like so cool. Well, that's dream sharing. And that's something else you can do. I know. Okay. I'm so glad.
Linda just said that she shared her dog's dream. So yeah, it can be done, Linda.
What did she say? I want to see. Someone said they had their.
I shared my dog's dream.
Yeah,
not kidding.
Yeah. So there's so, okay. Now here, okay, this is a little embarrassing, but you know what? You can have amazing sex in your dreams. It's safe sex, and it can be fabulous. You can be fabulous. And you're not. It's like, oh, I don't want to be in a car. But you're not. It's a dream, okay? It's just a dream, honey. Yeah.
Okay.
You can also go on vacations. If you're housebound, you can have dreams that are so real that it feels like you're there. You wake up and you've been to that tropical island. You've felt the ocean on your feet. You've smelled the salt air. You can have so many experiences. Oh, that idea of dream about it. Maybe you've heard it, I'll dream on it or I'll sleep on it.
Sleep on it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sleep on it. Yeah, dream on it. Sleep on it. So if you go to bed and you have something you're grappling with, you can just program yourself to get the answer. And really often you will know. You'll wake up in the morning and you'll just know, oh yeah, you know what? I don't need to move right now. I just need to remodel my house a bit, or whatever that big question is. You can get the answer in your dreams.
Oh, so, I love that. I do that. I know I do that. So how do we begin to decipher and understand the meaning of our dreams? Like, how do we begin to do that?
The first thing you need to do before you decipher them is you have to remember them. So I'm going to take it a step back. So in dream laboratories, they found that most dreams are forgotten within 10 minutes. Like they'll wake someone up, they see the REM, the eyes are going back and forth, they stop. They wake people up. They can recount an entire dream. So the REM eyes going back, oh, there's my finger. Okay, going back and forth. And then 5 minutes later, they'll wake them up and they can only remember just little fragments of the dream. 10 minutes after the dream, after the REM sleep, there's pretty much nothing. So a couple of things. One is if you always wake yourself up with an alarm clock and you don't remember your dreams, I'm going to suggest when you go to sleep, program yourself to wake up before your alarm clock. Now, I know you need it because you don't want to oversleep. You want to get to work on time. But program yourself to wake up naturally. Put a journal next to your bed. So immediately just begin to write. Write whatever you remember. And just, it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be full sentences because you have to kind of capture it in the moment. The other thing is if you wake up and you go, oh gosh, there's no dream, I'm going to suggest you roll your body slightly. Research has found that if you are in the exact same position that you had the dream, often it ignites that dream back. So does that make sense? You go,
oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
In the same position. Some other things is you just begin to doodle. Now, doodling is kind of a right brain activity. Dreams are right brain activity. Often in the doodling, a dream will come up. Another thing you can do is just ask yourself, if I knew what I dreamed about, what would it be? So there's a lot of different techniques, but these are some of the techniques that you can do to actually remember your dream. So now you talk about trying to figure out what the heck does it mean? The very first thing that I do is I ask myself, what is the overall feeling? What is the emotion? What is the feeling? And then I scan my life and I remember the last time I had that exact nuanced emotion. And almost always there's a correlation. So it's a great technique. Another technique is, incidentally, dreams are unique to the dreamer. So, there's I wrote a dream dictionary, but there's no correct dream dictionary. What do you mean? There's all these out. There's not correct. No, they're only a starting point because the imagery is personal to you. Most people like lavender, right? I mean, who doesn't like lavender? Well, I met someone who, and you think lavender, you think soothing, you think peaceful. I met someone who hates lavender. As a little boy, he was smelling the lavender. There was a bee. It stung him on the nose. Since that point, he hates lavender. So if he dreams about lavender, he's going to have a very different association for lavender than I'm going to have or you're going to have potentially. So it is unique to the dreamer. So another thing you can do is you look at what were the main images? There may be all kinds of things occurred, but maybe there was a big black dog, and there was a red fire engine, and there was a mushroom. And there was all kinds of things around the dog, the fire engine, and the mushroom, but those were the main things. So once you decipher what those main things are, you can do something like, I am a mushroom. And so it's like you become the mushroom. What do I represent? Well, I pop out of the ground. I'm in the earth. It's dark, but I pop out when I'm ready. And then you can think about your life and you can think, at my work, I've really felt like I'm under the radar. I feel like I am really kind of down in the darkness, but I am ready to pop out. Does that make sense?
So are you saying that every part of the dream we should put ourselves into so we can see what it represents about ourselves?
There's lots of techniques. This is one technique, is become each of the main objects and then notice what does it feel like? What are the emotional energies associated? What are the memories associated with that? And so that's a really good technique. Another technique is and I love talking to people about getting a dream guide. This is very traditional. In cultures around the world, in ancient cultures, people would have dream guides. They would make altars to their dream guides. They would call upon their dream guides before they went to sleep. And so you can just close your eyes, imagine your dream guide is with you and say, what the heck did my dream mean? And sometimes that just takes you straight to the point. Oh, I just thought of something to share. This is how important dreams were in the past. Okay, so now we have what's the symbol for healing for the doctors? What's the symbol?
Oh, the thingy.
Yeah, the
Snake.
caduceus. That's called the caduceus. There's
Right.
two snakes, right? They're all twirled up. Okay.
Yeah.
That comes from ancient Greek dream temples. Now, there were between 300 and 400 dream temples in ancient Greece. These were temples for healing. They also had a lot of serpents in these. So you would go into those temples to dream, to gain information for your healing. And it was also believed that healers would come to you while you were in that dream state. Sometimes I wonder if they're like, all right, there's a lot of snakes here. I'm well. I'm better. I'm out of here. Oh, yeah, I had a good dream. Yeah, I'm done. But I do know that things like that don't continue for generation after generation if they don't work. It's another thing you can do. You can call upon your guides to do healing on you in the night. Also, one of the things I've loved to do in my life, I've trained people to be night healers. A night healer is someone who can, while their body's sleeping, they can go out and they can do healing on others. So there's just,
I love that.
There's so much. I know I'm all over the place. It's just something I'm so,
I know you're passionate. So how can someone get to a deeper dream state? Like there's some comments on here that people aren't dreaming, they can't remember their dreams. Right. And I know that you talked about how to remember your dream, but how does someone get to a deeper dream state?
You already have deep dream states, but I think what we're talking about is remembering their dreams. Yes. Maybe not. Maybe you can clarify if that's not what you mean.
Well,
before you go to bed, so you might consider making a dream altar. What is that? You can put right next to your bed. It doesn't have to be all religious. You can put something that represents your dream state. A crystal is great. You can have a dream crystal. You can have it dedicated to your dreams. A great stone to use is selenite. Selenite is named after the goddess Selene, the goddess of the moon. The moon affects our dreams. So you can have a selenite there. You can also have lavender. Speaking of lavender, you can take a few drops of...
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. Selenite. So Sellinite.
Selenite. Selenite.
Okay, I'm going to put this in the chat. Okay, go ahead.
So you can also take a few drops of lavender oil. Here's your lavender oil. And put the drops in. Okay, and then you rub. And then you inhale. And as you inhale, you hold the intent that you remember your dreams. And as you're going to sleep, tonight I remember my dreams. Tonight I remember my dreams. And if you are so inclined, you can call upon your dream guide. Tonight, I remember my dreams. And then in the morning, you can do the same thing. You know, especially if you don't remember the dreams, you do 3 drops, rub. My dreams are coming to me. Because have you ever had that experience where your dreams come to you in the daytime? Mm-hmm. Like, oh my God, I dreamed about this.
Yeah, I wake up like knowing everything.
Yeah. So anyway, I am sorry. I keep just carried on. So questions.
Okay. What significant symbols should people pay attention to in their dreams?
Okay. And I love some of these comments. Joseph said he uses selenite healing wand that helps him to remember dreams.
Oh,
I love that.
Beautiful.
And that's me. I was going to say, I said selenite crystals. I was like,
you did, but I typed it. It's me, remember?
All right. I forgot what your question was.
The question was, what significant symbols should people pay attention to in their dreams?
Pay particular attention to anything that repeats 3 times. If something comes up and it continues to repeat in your dreams, pay attention to the number 3. Pay attention to circles. The most important and the most powerful symbols are the symbols that are potent to you. So, but if something, like for me, red-winged blackbirds, I love red-winged blackbirds. If a red-winged blackbird showed up in my dream, I would pay attention to that dream because it's something important to me. So also pay attention to dreams that are vivid color. Pay attention to dreams that feel real. Like you wake up and you're not sure whether, what was real for, Those dreams are big dreams. Those dreams are important dreams. Pay attention to those dreams. And if you can, write down as much as you can about those dreams, because often those dreams have a very, very important message. Pay attention to the dreams that don't disappear in 10 minutes. And those are also big dreams. Sometimes the message is so important that 10 minutes later, you remember it. So those are some of the things to pay attention to.
Yeah, I went ahead and put those points up. So how do you know if you're having, we've heard about precognitive dreams.
Yes.
Right? Dreams about the future. So how do you discern if you're having a precognitive dream or it's just a dream, like just a regular dream about symbols or something else? Like, how can you determine the difference?
There are some commonalities of precognitive dreams. One of the qualities is that very real quality I talked about, where it feels real. Another quality is, and it's that when something keeps repeating, like I talk about things repeating 3 times, so pay attention to that. But the most important thing is the feeling. When you have a precognitive dream, say it's just a mundane precognitive dream, you have a dream that the UPS guy comes and he brings you a red box. And then later in the day, the UPS guy shows up and he's got a red box. Notice the feeling that you had in that dream. Does that make sense? So it's a small precognitive dream, but there is always a feeling associated. Once you discern that feeling, anytime you have that feeling, that is a dream to pay attention to. And I had a dream that I believe saved my life. I mean, when you begin to watch your dreams, they could be giving you information about the future that is really important, not just getting a red box from the UPS, but sometimes big information. So pay attention to the colors, pay attention to the feeling, pay attention to something that keeps repeating itself, especially in 3s.
Okay. Let's talk about astral travel. We had some people here that talked about astral travel. Linda just said, how do I restart astral flying? Or can you explain astral travel? And then maybe we do a little,
Okay.
thing.
Astral travel is when your spirit leaves your body. Now, maybe talking to everyone here, maybe, do you remember as a kid, do you remember flying? And it really seemed like you were really flying? Well, you were probably astral traveling. Or how about this? Do you remember dreams, maybe as an adult, where you were flying? Your body was floating up. Maybe you're going over the trees. Those are usually astral travel dreams. Even dreams where you're in an airplane can be astral travel dreams. Curiously, if you find yourself floating and there's power lines either above you or below you in your dream, that's usually an astral travel dream. How about this?
Oh.
In the middle of the night, all of a sudden your whole body jerks. You've been astral traveling. That is a bad landing. The great thing about astral travel dreams, Pamela says she travels all the time. She flies all the time.
Over and over and over again. Why they're repeating over and over. Okay.
What?
I'm sorry. I was mumbling because there was a grill.
As you lay in bed, visualize that as your body's there, that you're sitting up. Your body stays prone, but you're sitting up. Or visualize your hands are down. I don't know if I can see this. Okay, I'm sleeping, and now my energy hand comes up. My physical hand is still down, but my energy hand comes up and touches my nose. So you practice that over and over again. Or you practice leaving your body, going up to the wall, putting your hands on the wall, and then pushing through. You'll feel a little bit of resistance. So you visualize that again and again. Or you visualize yourself floating up out of your body. Those are really great ways to begin astral traveling. Some people say, oh, well, that could be scary. Here's what you do. Before you go to bed, you create a dream shield. What is a dream shield? You just imagine this shield over you. It can go under you. It's about this thick. It's thick. You can see through it. Maybe embedded inside of it are sacred symbols. You could do that. If you're really concerned, you can take some salt to make salt around your bed. But honestly, you'll be fine. And it's a great experience. Here, someone says, frozen, still frozen.
Hold on a second. Hit reconnect.
What?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Denise.
Okay. The host has it on pause, the refresh button.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's see what's going on.
Who's frozen?
Well, they can't hear us. Hit the reconnect button. Try refresh button. The host has it on pause. I don't have it on pause. I haven't touched anything. I love these magical things that happen, with
And someone
electronics.
says, all good for me now. Okay. I'm back.
It works.
All
I'm
good.
back on. You're back. There's reconnect button at the top. It's fine. Okay, cool. All right. That's so funny. Good now. Okay. Excellent. We were all frozen. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you repeat that, because that I've actually never heard you. And I'll tell you exactly what you said if you want me to.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you're like, I don't know what I said.
It was so cool. Okay, we're rewinding, meaning we're rewinding the conversation, but I have to remind Denise what we're talking about. We were talking about astral traveling, and Denise said that how you start to practice astral traveling, let's say you're laying in your bed like this, right? You don't physically, I'm repeating, you don't physically lift your hand, but you visualize your hand coming up and touching your nose, but you're laying down. So you energetically move your hand up to touch your nose. And then you do the same with your body. So you stand up and but you're laying down still, you're sleeping, you're going into that sleep place, and you energetically allow yourself to see yourself and to feel yourself come up right, and then go touch the walls, right? And you start to feel the walls. So you do it, you kind of practice this way. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then can you also, so from that point, then you go and astral travel. So someone had a good question that I was actually going to ask right now, is what is the purpose of astral traveling?
Okay, maybe they missed that. I said one of the great things that occurs with astral travel is it gives you a sense of freedom. You begin to realize that you have a body, but you are not your body. You begin to realize that you are so much more. It gives you a sense of freedom and expansion, and your sense of identity becomes so much more expanded. And it can be a very spiritual experience. And in a lot of spiritual traditions, they do teach astral traveling. When I was with the Aborigines, they always astral travel. They say that it's how they stay in touch with each other. They will visit each other because they live at great distances in the outback, but they would always leave a little bit of the soil, the sand, the dust from their area when they visited. So when the people woke up in the morning, they would know who visited them. So, but the biggest thing is that sense of expansion of self, which is so valuable.
I love that. And you can also visit people in other parts of the country or other parts of the world.
Yes, you can. And it was great because the one of the Aborigines I spent quite a bit of time with, he was very revered elder. When the Queen of England went to Australia, this was the elder that she was introduced to. And he said, and I met Aborigines who for the first 30, 40 years of their life lived exactly the way their ancestors did 2,000 years ago. So although they didn't even have the wheel, they didn't have any advancement of tools, they have this vast spiritual universe that they lived in. And so all of a sudden here comes planes and trains and white people and personal ownership. They didn't have a concept of personal ownership. And he said so many of the young Aborigines are in prison because they don't understand that, there's a grocery store. They think it's for everyone, and they don't understand. No, you can't have it. It's not yours. That was incomprehensible to them. So they ended up in jail. So he was going in and teaching them the traditional old ways. So even though their bodies were in prison, their spirit was free.
Wow, I love that. I absolutely love that. And maybe because I'm afraid of flying, and every 300 people now do too. So maybe it'll help me. So Joseph had an interesting.
You know what? I want to answer this one. Can I? Valerie's question. Okay, yes. So Valerie said, my son has a recurring nightmare, a dream. Where'd it go? Okay. Oh, where'd it go? Okay. Where one of the soft toys appears in different scary situations. Any advice? Okay. So first of all, pay very close attention to recurring, this is for everyone, to recurring dreams, and especially to recurring nightmares. Because it's like something inside of you really wants to get that message to you. And if you don't figure out what it means, it's going to come back again and again and again until you finally get it. The other thing that you can do with kids is give them tools. You know, if there's a scary monster, you can maybe give them a lightsaber to have next to their bed so they can fight the monster. And for kids, you can do that. It's like the boundary between what is real and what's a dream is very fluid. The other thing that I've done with kids and it's really successful is you put a bowl of sweets and you say, when the monster comes, you give him some candy so he becomes your friend. So you can make friends with, or you can have a gift to give the monster. Does that make sense? And you might think, well, how could that work? It works amazingly because of this. To the kids, it's real. Okay, I'm going to make friends with the monster. Or I'm going to beat the monster. And what happens is as that child overcomes his fear, he steps into more courage in his life and he realizes if he can handle that situation, he can handle other scary situations in life. So there's geopathic stress with kids. So sometimes if they have a lot of nightmares, you might just change their bed and see if that makes a difference. Just move it one way or the other. I mean, there's a lot of things that can affect nightmares. Also, residual energy. Moved into a house and there's residual energy, or maybe there's even a ghost, that can affect nightmares. So there's a lot, but give the child the tools that they need to overcome their fear.
I had a dream. I had constant dreams, the same dream over and over again when I was about 4, 5, 6 years old. And it wasn't until I had my first past life regression when I was 19, many, many years ago, that it was a past life. And I was being chased by Nazis. And I was this little girl and I didn't have the words to explain it. But I would explain it to my mom and I would wake up just blood-curdling screams in the middle of the night. And then when I had them recurring when I was about 19, and my mom, as you know, was ahead of her time, had me do a past life regression. And that's, yeah. Isn't that wild? Yeah. And then dreams went away.
I don't know if we've talked about this. I had, as a child, this horrifying, scary dream. There was a wall, and in the wall were these ovens, and there was fire, and there were children going into this fire. They were being slid into these, kind of fires on the wall. And over and over again, and it was so scary. And then when I got to college, I was having that dream. So I went to the college psychologist, and he said, well, you were the oldest child, and you wanted to burn up all your brothers and sisters, so that's what this dream meant. And I'm like, all righty, he's a psychologist. And then one day I saw, and I actually remember that I died at Auschwitz, that one day I saw an image of the ovens at Auschwitz, and it was my exact dream. And I realized that it was coming up. And the reason why we'll have these is to begin to fetter off is that the right word? Anyway, to release some of the trauma that we had at the time. And so the dreams state is a way to release it for you to overcome your fear. Now, if I had worked with you, I would say go back into the dream and come up with the tools that you need to defeat the Nazi or become friends with the Nazi or, change it. And as you change it, it begins to change that tape loop that's inside of you. And the tape loop I had inside of me about seeing these children go into the ovens.
Oh God! I went this is such a funny. It's so off the cuff. A couple of years ago, I went and bought these cute little black boots. Right? These black boots. They came up to my knees, and I brought them home, and they were just beautiful. And I put them on, and I couldn't wear them.
I used to have a black shiny boot hatred. And I wrote a book called Past Life, Present Miracles. And I wrote about discovering this past life, and how I had this thing. I have shiny black boots now. I love them now, but then I had a thing about I couldn't even look at shiny black boots. And I had this rabbi write to me, and he's written some books called From Ashes to Healing. And he was a rabbi that worked with Jewish people that had died during Nazi Germany. And he said one of the things they had in common was a thing about China. I had no idea. I didn't know where that came from. But So anyway, we're getting way off topic
We're
here.
getting off topic. Okay,
Yeah,
so
the energy's going down. We got to get the energy
I
back.
know. Okay, so there's a couple of questions that we've got going on here. I'm going to scroll through and find them. But if you have any questions or you have a dream that you would, I think Denise is going to take maybe one or two people that post your dream and post a question about it, and we'll take a look at it to see if she can help you better understand it. We can't get to everybody. We'll get to a few people. So Carol has a question. Does the person you visit have to buy into astral travel? Do they have to believe in astral travel?
No.
Okay. Okay. No. Perfect.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know what was really fun? When I used to travel, I still travel, but I used to travel a lot. And I would be sad because I was away from my young daughter. And so we began to dream share. And that was where we both were consciously doing it. And in the morning, then I'd call her and then we would share our dreams. And really often we were in the same dream but had different parts. So you can visit someone astrally. Now, if someone has activated their dream shield, you're not going to be able to get in, but and connect with them. And that's a great. Oh, if you were in a hotel, please activate your dream shield.
Talk about activating dream shield. Like, okay. What's that?
Well,
how do we do that?
Here's why you do it in a hotel. You know how you got the wall back there? Well, sometimes right behind that wall, there's somebody else sleeping. And it's not uncommon for you to kind of, your dream states to kind of filter into each other. So as you're laying down, you just close your eyes and you visualize, as I mentioned before, you visualize a shield. It goes over you. It's about this thick. It's clear. You can have, I put kind of mystical symbols in it, or you can put crosses in it, or you can just have a clear shield. So you can put it over you and under you, and you can activate it. And as you activate it, how do you activate it? There's a lot of ways to activate your dream shield, but you simply saying the word, I am now activating my dream shield, will work. And you just remember to do that before you go to sleep. And then you are in your own space. And someone who astral travels a lot, sometimes they just want a night off. So it's a really good way to get a night off. Dream shield, okay. Night off.
Love that. I love that. And I have started to bring my own pillows. When I travel now, I have to bring my own pillow because I noticed that I was picking up on all the energy of the person who had their head someplace, and I was having these bizarre dreams. So that's another thing. Okay. So Katrina.
You know what I should mention? Like if you're tired and going through an airport or a shopping center, watch your dreams at night, because sometimes if you don't have a strong energy field around you, when you're tired, you can absorb all kinds of energy from different people. And I'll wake up, oh God, David, I've got someone else's energy. And I can tell by my dreams. I can tell they're not my dreams, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay, so Katrina has a really great question. When you have a dream with someone who has passed on, are you visiting them in another plane?
Yes.
Oh.
Because it's a portal.
I thought they come to you.
A portal. And so when you step through that, you are outside. You're not in the physical plane anymore. You're in the plane of spirit.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. Let's see. Other question. I have a couple of dreams where I am hovering over a scene, and then I become one of those people I was just watching. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see if I can find Colleen's. Ada says that explains that too. I don't see the question, Colleen. So if you could put the question up there, that would be great. But if you want to. Here we go.
Let me talk about a few common dreams. Okay. A very common dream is loss of teeth. And I mean, a lot of people have said, God, I just felt like I lost my teeth. This dream can indicate a lot of different things. Sometimes when people have that loss of teeth or loose teeth dream, it's when they feel like they have a loss of power. They can't make a decision. Decision means to bite, to decide is to, and so they can't decide. It feels like they have a loss of faith, F-A-C-E, a loss of faith, a loss of power, and also having trouble deciding. What about falling dreams? You're falling in your dreams. These are interesting because sometimes it can feel like you're falling on your face. You're in a situation where you're not on stable ground. But also these dreams can be really exciting because when you're a child and you go from crawling to walking, you fall a lot. And so falling dreams can indicate that you are at the end of one cycle and you're about to begin a new cycle. You're not on firm ground yet, but it can be a really good indication. You're stepping out of your comfort zone, but because something new is beginning. Water dreams are often associated, again, these are not for everybody because dreams are individual, but frozen water can be frozen emotions. Water often indicates emotions. Stagnant water can indicate stagnant emotions. So does that make sense? So usually pay careful attention to your water dreams. So
that's what Marie just wrote. So Marie wrote, I had a vivid dream of being in a car with my parents and brother. The car went off a small bridge and we all died. I cannot watch any show or commercial where people are underwater.
Okay,
probably. So goes to what you're saying.
Okay, now water usually represents emotions, but the fact that she can't watch any show where people are underwater, to me, that suggests either a past life memory or sometimes, and this is a fascinating thing that a lot of scientists are finding out about. It's called the ancestor syndrome, that sometimes if our ancestors have gone through some kind of trauma, it actually stays in the genes. And they've done experiments with mice, for example, where they will create a negative response to one experiment, poor little micey, but they had a negative experience of a smell, bitter cherry. And every time they smell the bitter cherry, they get a little shock. Oh God, it's horrible. Bitter cherry is horrible. But what they found is generations later, when they weren't being shocked, but they would smell bitter cherry, they would have a traumatic response to it. So sometimes those dreams are ancestral and sometimes they're past life.
Wow. Okay. All right. This is so interesting.
But what I'm going to suggest, whether it's ancestral or past life, go back into the dream. So there's the car. It's going off the bridge. It's going under the water. And even though it's like, I don't want to go back in there, it's really scary. Go back into the dream. Break the window. Save everybody. Does that make sense? Or maybe just as the car is going to go over, you get the angels are there and they're lifting the car, putting them on the other side of the bridge. Change the dream and do it again and again until you have created a new visual reality around it. And that's powerful for your life because that will translate out into your life. Because if you have that subconscious fear, it's always at play in your life. So if you shift that by going back into the dream, and it doesn't mean you actually have to be dreaming. You can be wide awake, close your eyes, go back into it and change the outcome.
I do that all the time.
Right.
And what I could do is I can wake up, and I don't know what's going on, and I say to myself, I have to go back to sleep to finish my dream. And I can go back and sleep and finish the dream.
And so that's where you're actually in the dream, but you can do it when you're awake. You don't even have to be dreaming.
That's wild. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so Heather has a dream she'd like you to know about. Okay. Heather McLean says, I dreamed that she looked like a watercolor painting that was being painted as I watched. It was a world of blue and gray mountains, and there were clouds racing across the sky.
Oh my
the
God.
Mountains were covered with Buddhas sitting in meditation off into the distance, 10,000 Buddhas. A great wind comes up and over the mountain, and all of them tip and gently rock together, but they do not lose their connection. They stay calm and strong, but then rock back center all together. This dream just stays with her. Today, the sky looked just like her dream. What does that mean?
Well, I have dream envy. I definitely have dream envy. I want that dream. Sometimes there are those big dreams like this, and it's like we go beyond the normal realm that we enter into in our dreams, and there's something vast and majestic and remarkable. It's a realm that we enter into. And Heather, my sense is that is the realm that you entered into. And my sense is that there's a with that opening is still there, and you are being fed energy from that place. And it sounds amazing. It sounds, and if this were my dream, because like I said, dreams are very individual. If this were my dream, I would feel like there was an energy that was helping me stay grounded, stay compassionate, stayed centered, and even if the winds came, I still had that deep sense of peace. I love that dream. I think it's a powerful dream.
I know, it's beautiful. Okay, so, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, Esther has something disturbing.
Okay. And I just want to let you know, Liz, we have 2 more minutes.
Okay. We have to talk really fast then.
Yes. Keeping track of it. So what's Esther's?
She often dreams of people being with me in my bedroom, often comforting, sometimes noisy. Lately, she's had 2 dogs who jump on her bed and romp around, and before they lay on beside me, before they decide to lay on beside her. Oh. She doesn't have any dogs.
Well, there are those in the realm of spirit. And again, I didn't have the dream, so I can't be definitive. But to me, if that were my dream, I would feel like there are those in the realm of spirit that are just there comforting me. They're just there sweetly and lovingly comforting me. And the dog's just sweetly and lovingly comforting me as I fell asleep. And I would love that. I do have dreams. I think right before the show, I thought, I'd like some spiritual dreams. And then my inner voice said, Denise, if you didn't read murder mysteries right before you went to bed, you probably would have more.
That would help. That would help a lot. Well, listen, we've just got a couple minutes, and I just want to wrap this up. If you've been intrigued by any of this, if any of this resonates to you, Denise, I'm helping Denise put an amazing week-long program together, and it is called Mystical Dreaming, and it is a week-long program.
It's a certification course, so you will be certified to work with others in their dreams.
And it's taking place on December 6th through the 13th in beautiful Santa Fe. And Denise, tell us, why did you choose Santa Fe? I know why you chose it.
Well, I've had a lot of spiritual teachers in my life, but a spiritual teacher that has just stood out in my heart was a Tiwa Puebla Indian from Taos named Dancing Feather. And I was with Dancing Feather as he was dying at the Santa Fe Indian Hospital, and he had chosen to teach me his way because at that time he said that the younger Puebla Indians weren't interested in learning the old ways. I think they are now, but this was a long time ago. And he talked to me about the land, and he talked to me about the energy of the land. For example, in Taos, they are still living in homes that they've lived in those exact same homes, those mud hut homes for over 500 years. And there's a kind of residual energy that builds up over time. And if you're still, you can find that residual energy in Taos and in Santa Fe. Also, Santa Fe around Christmas time is fabulous. They decorate to the hilt, and you can feel there's magic in the air. So you can feel the deep native energy that's kind of filtered into the land. And also, I don't know, it's just beautiful there. And the crisp air and the blue sky and the sparkling Christmas lights, I love it. And I was so looking forward because as I started out talking about in the beginning, the world needs dreamers. The world needs you. In addition to learning how to understand your own dream life, you will understand how you can be a dream coach. What does that mean? It's like you can coach someone in their life through using their dreams as a vehicle to understand the forces at play in their life and to support them in those decisions in life. So you become a dream coach. You can also teach dream seminars. So it's wonderful. And last time I taught this 2 years ago in Santa Fe, there were so many miracles, so many instances of, it was amazing, wasn't it, Liz?
It was totally amazing. I just want everybody to know.
I have the same dreams on the same night. And I mean, it was amazing. It was so.
I just want everybody to know I'm posting the link. If you want more information about it, I just posted the link in the chat area under Denise and for everybody. Someone said, we're not quite sold out yet. We do still have some spaces left. It's a much, much smaller group than what we normally do with our events. And it is a week-long, just delicious program where you're just basked in this energy of just teaching and learning. I mean, learning all these great teachings with Denise. And remember what she said.
We're going to do drumming. We're going to learn how to do drumming to activate dream states. And I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about, we're going to be going on a mini quest, MINI, kind of in Native traditions, they would often quest to gain the big dreams, to open that channel to their dream state. So we have a lot of really exciting things planned, and it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And a week-long experience with Denise in Santa Fe. I am so excited, and I'm going out to buy special winter clothes because I live in Arizona, and so we don't even have any winter coats. So I get to buy a winter coat. Oh, so come join us. I love what you shared at the beginning, Denise, about that we need more dreamers in the world, and that's what she's going to be teaching throughout the entire week. And this was just a little bit of a sample of what you can expect. And of course, a week-long program, there's going to be a lot more extensive. The link is right there. And I just appreciate all of you taking time to come join us. This was really lovely.
Thank you. And of course, sweet dreams, my beautiful, beautiful fellow dreamers.